Hi there, Ronnie here, coming at you with a video. Thought I'd give an update as to what's happening with PIP. I filmed in my form last weekend, which was extremely difficult to do. Not because the questions are particularly difficult to answer, it's that you have to be so honest with yourself and bare your soul in a way that you really don't like doing, and acknowledging your feelings and your inabilities, and it's like a constant litany of things you're not good at. And I was talking to my friend Samantha and a couple of others, and spent last Monday night on Geeks 2 channel doing character creation, and I was trying to keep level head. I had to wait till I got my prescription, because one of the things they ask for is your current prescription, or proof of your current prescription. So I've sent them that. One of the problems of having such low self-esteem, and sort of low self-worth, is finding it very difficult to ask for help. And as such, I don't really have a lot of appointments with doctors. I mean, PIP, you have to go through PIP every sort of 2-3 years. And I probably would have went, under normal circumstances, I would have had a PIP assessment last year. But obviously with COVID and everything, that got delayed, which is also true of my ESA, which means that's due as well. And all of this is building in my head. So I didn't have a lot of paperwork other than my just my being honest. And there lies the problem. Because I don't have an awful lot of paper, in fact, I didn't have any paperwork other than the form. We have a system here in Britain, when you're going for sort of disability payments or so on, because there have been a handful of cases of people trying to con the system, that there's been a reaction to it now. In my opinion, the way that you react is you get all the evidence, you listen to the person, and you base your conclusion on the evidence. And the person who is assessing you should be someone who actually knows what the heck they're talking about. Last time I was failed on my ESA, and I had to go through the appeals process, which is just so stressful. But the last time I had to go through that nonsense was because the person who assessed me, who worked for Atos, admitted that they had only done a 6-week course to prepare herself for the role of an assessor. Now, as someone with chronic mental illness, I do not want to be assessed by someone who has no real experience of dealing with, assessing, understanding people with mental illness. In the same way that if you're someone who is battling cancer, the last person you want assessing you is someone who has no specialist knowledge in cancer, in dealing with cancer patients, in what they go through. You wouldn't want someone who wasn't a specialist. And when someone is being assessed on the grounds of their mental health, it should be someone who is a trained psychologist or psychiatrist doing the assessing. But we don't have that system. Worse, because a handful of people have tried to con the system, we now have the ludicrous position where a person is guilty of conning the system unless they can prove otherwise. And that's the reality. That's why we've had so many people failed who subsequently win their appeal, because the appeals process is handled by separate people. And because of that, the intense stress and distress that people have went through, we do have an appalling record of suicides as a result of people, the stress of the forms, the stress of worrying about whether they're going to be called in for an assessment, which I know will happen with me because of the lack of paperwork. So I've got that to look forward to. And then there's the wait. They say, oh, it will be up to 6 weeks. It's never up to 6 weeks. It is 6 weeks. None of this up to nonsense. And if they fail you, and it was discovered, I don't know whether Atos are doing it anymore, especially not in Scotland, but certainly at the time, it was an investigative series called Frontline Scotland, discovered from evidence of people who had been employed by Atos that there were failure targets. The Atos assessors were required to fail a certain percentage of people, whether they were actually ill or not. And for all those reasons, I've started to stress. I posted my form on the Thursday, and because of all the Jubilee nonsense, it probably won't get to them till this week. And then the wait begins. I mean, there's It was meant to be in for the 18th of June, which means they won't do anything until the 18th of June. And then they'll assess it and it will go through whatever. I will undoubtedly have to go for an assessment, which is more stress. And then there's the wait to find out. And then if they fail me, there's the appeals process, which again they tell you it's up to 12 weeks. No, it's not. It's 12 weeks. Meanwhile, the job centre treat you like scum. Now, to be fair, last time I was failed a few years ago, my local job centre, the person I had contact with, was lovely with me and very, very nice. And I think she could see that I was not in a position to do anything. And she could see that what was happening to me was grossly unfair. So she was very kind to me, and that was fine. But it really is distressing. As a result, my sleep pattern's all to shot. The antidepressant I take at night does indeed make me very sleepy. Part of the reason for that is it's meant to sort of quieten my mind. It does make you drowsy. You're not meant to take it during the day, or handling heavy machinery in that business. But it's because my brain is bouncing all over the place at the moment with worry. The antidepressants aren't quietening my mind, and I'm finding it very difficult to sleep, and I'm falling asleep not out of tiredness so much as exhaustion. And because it's the summer, when the sun comes up, my body tends to go, wakey time. And I've been known to sort of go to bed at 12, half 12, in a vain attempt to actually just fall asleep out of exhaustion, just in the hope that I'll actually get a good night's sleep. And then waking up, along with, being a middle-aged man and needing to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But waking up at sort of 4:30 in the morning and not really being able to get back to sleep because the sun, it's a bright day. And then sort of falling asleep mid-morning and then really not... and then that whole cycle going on night after night. So I'm absolutely exhausted. And trying to do stuff like I've done a couple of videos. I mean, this is the third video I've done in this day, in the in the last 24 hours. Because my brain is just firing. I mean, there's I've said this in other videos. The plus side of my mind firing is I get lots of ideas. The downside of my brain firing is I get lots of ideas. And it's not a nice place to be in my head at the moment, because I'm just every worried scenario in my head is being rattling around here. I was meant to be running the first episode of my game today. I was spending the afternoon getting my notes together for session 1, and I just can't concentrate. My brain just won't shut up with all the worry, and I can't focus. I did try. I shut everything down. I don't have the internet on or I don't have my web browser up. I put on some music in the background, just to have some calm, and I write, and I find it, and that's how I write. I have my music, and when I say music, I mean music. I can't write to songs, because I got out of that habit when I realised I was typing away and thinking I was getting right into the rhythm of my story, and realising I was starting to type the bloody lyrics. So I got out of that, and I listened to instrumental music, often. Oftentimes, like film soundtracks or something, just something that fits the mood of either fits the mood or the genre of what I'm going for, similar to the kind of stuff that I would actually play during a session if I was around table in my house. But I just can't concentrate at the moment, so I've had to cancel tomorrow night's session, because I just can't get my head in the game at all, and I've asked for another week in the vain hope I can actually pull it together. Which of course I then feel bad about, because I feel like I'm letting everyone down, which just plays into my own self-worth, which kicks me off, and it just becomes this whole flipping cycle. And it's just very, I don't want to say frustrating, because it's not frustrating. That's not the word. It's terrifying is the word. I'm terrified. And it's just very, very tough for me at the moment. And just trying to sort of keep my head. Sorry, tired. Just trying to keep my head. So that's my update at the moment. The wait now starts. I'm almost guaranteed to have to go for an actual face-to-face assessment, which I'm not looking forward to. But we'll see. But right now it's all just noise, and I'm not coping very well.